All right. Hello, hello, hello. Whoa, 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 whoa. Some wobbles. Some. This'll do. Gonna play some button shy stuff. Feels like that's probably the right thing to do. So keep all my button shy games in here. Figure we'll go through. We got Rove with all the expansions. I have Rage More, which is just the one. I don't think they ever put out expansions for that one. Got my little Captain Planet here. How's it hang? Let's see what else we might play today. There we go. I've got Sprawlopolis, again, with all the expansions, uh, including Combopolis and Agropolis, which also has all of its expansions. And I've got Food Chain Island, and oh yeah, more recently I got Pentaquark, which has been I have not gotten to play Pentaquark a ton. Um, I've only played it a couple times, but I do enjoy it. It just seems like I need more time to be able to figure out whether it's something like I really really enjoy Rage More a lot as I make a mess. I think Rage More is excellent. Really quick, super straightforward, but just provides a lot of interesting choices. So why don't we? You know what? We'll start there. We're gonna start with Rage More, and then perhaps we'll move to one of the others. So we'll get all these rule books out of the way. So, Rage More, what is it? Rage More is you're like playing through as this like knight, sort of working your way through this deck of different opponents and monsters and things like that. And you are trying to match different symbols with symbols in the corners while also avoiding some of these like skull icons here, right? So all the cards have a different face on the back of them, essentially. So what we're going to do is we're going to mm, yep, yep. There we go. Corner there. Let's see, it only just now sort of dawned on me how bonkers the Sprawlopolis and all of those expansions are, especially considering the fact that I have uh, Naturopolis, the new Sprawlopolis expansions, the new Combopolis expand. Like I have all of that stuff coming as well. Um, I just really, it's one of those things where it's like now that I have this and I have all these expansions for Sprawlopolis, I'm not sure I need a different like tile placement or pattern building game. Just because this one kind of like it scratches all those itches, right? And when you do like, if you do like the Combopolis and you have the interstate expansion, it just creates this like I don't know if I could fit it on this table. It's huge. Okay, so we're gonna shuffle up Rage More. And then, if I am remembering correctly, we deal. Oh boy, it's been a hot second. Oh yeah, okay. So we do from the bottom of the deck. This is we're essentially building our quests. Quests can never have more than 3 cards in them. So if you ever have to place a 4th card into a quest, you lose um, cards cannot have matching suits beside one another in a quest. So essentially, I can't place another crown here, so I'll take another one. And this is a snake, so I could place it here, or I could place it here. So in this case, we're going to do that. Then we have a sun. We have to do this for 5 until. So like this one, I couldn't have placed where the sun is. So I'm going to place that one here. Last one is a cross. Place there, and then we do 2, or maybe it's 3 for our little set here. Yeah, 3. And so similarly, or not similarly, but one of the biggest things that's different is that we have for our play area, like suits, stack. So like the 2 snakes there will stack. And the goal is to get 3 matching suits in 2 different suits. So to get like 3 snakes, 3 suns is the objective. And all we do really is we just kind of go back and forth. We have a few different options as far as what we can do. We can explore, which is if we match the suit to a card here. Exploring is basically how we get cards into our finished quests. So that's how that goes. Yeah, I just saw that yeah. Let me just update this real quick. Okay, and then I guess music, and certainly not music and art. It's other. Yeah, there we go. That's better. Cool. So yeah, so we can explore to get cards into our finished quests. We can fight, which is looking at the numeric values. So you have like these base ones here, like 2, 0, 1. The light colored sides are always going to be less than like the red counterpart. So like you look at the 2, this side is 3. Just as a quick example. And so when you like use cards in this game, you end up like inverting them and then putting them on the bottom of this deck, which kind of acts as like a an encounter deck that you're sort of going through, because at the end of your turn you can choose to either pass, where I would take this and add it to one of these quests, or you can fight this one on top. Technically, it's supposed to be set up like this, because it's the one that I'm currently engaging. I'm able to see what the next card is on top of the deck. And then recruiting is I can basically spend these icons. So instead of exploring, where I take them, put them into my finished quests, recruiting brings them into my play area here. So I could use the recruiting if I know that, for example, in this case, I could use, well, I can't recruit in this case, because the red skull icon means you can't recruit those cards. So I would have to do the sun, the crown, or the sun over here in the deck. But I only have a crown and a cross, and you have to be able to use all of them. So that won't work. And then that's it. Yeah, that sounds like that's it. Okay, and then there's a graveyard. You'll sometimes see cards referenced like a graveyard. So if you fight, you can choose to fight and lose, and he would go to the graveyard. But so like if there was a really strong one here in the encounter, and I didn't like the cards I had here, I could essentially just sack one of my cards in order to get a better card into my play area. So yeah, we'll go on through. So in this case, if I want to fight, I could fight this one, but I'm gonna have to add him to this stack. And if I fight him, because my 2 is higher than the 1, I only flip it, nothing happens. Then this encounter comes out. And so whenever a card goes from the encounter into one of the 2 quests to the thing at the bottom ends up happening. And it's like it's never good. It's never a good thing that happens to us. So that's cool. Like in this case, I could recruit. I could just basically clear these 2 out and leave the sun, but I'd be forcing this card in the encounter to go to this quest, because then I would only be leaving the sun. I think I think I can fight the top card of the deck, I think. Yeah. Oh, you can only fight the encounter card, so that does me no good. Yeah. Alright, I think I'm going to... Is that what it is? No. I'm going to explore, I think. Although, I don't really like any of my options, honestly. So if okay, I think this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to let this one go, because I don't currently have any cards in my quest tableau, which is like the completed quests over here. So this one essentially has no effect, but it means that I have to deal with every card coming out from now on. So in this case, I don't really want to have to. This is what I'll do. I'm gonna fight this one, which will put him here, revealing this one, and then I think I'm going to fight this one with this to put it into my graveyard, so that will give me this card here. So I at least have something decent. I think when I explore, it can be... It has to all be from one quest. Man, I have not set myself up very well for this. And so like this one, for example, I can't use it because it's covered also, which is not great. So I guess... So I don't want to let this one go because he'll get added to the graveyard. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm probably going to use this one to fight this one. I believe they're equal. They sort of just cancel each other out. Yeah, the bottom of the deck in any order. So it probably makes sense to have the bigger one lower. So we'll go with that. Okay, so now the next encounter. I really just want to... I think I'm going to explore. I'm going to use this one to explore. So I'm going to explore with that one to get this. So I'll put that off to the side there. You'll see that? Yeah, you see that, all right. So now essentially we have one of this sun. So, because I did that, oh, that was stupid. I just lost. So I'm going to reset, do it again. But essentially, what I did was I explored do that, but I didn't think about the fact that this guy is going to have to go into one of these two quests. And like I said, you can't do matching suits. The cross can't be beside the cross. So he would have to go here, and since there's four, that would mean that I lose. So we're going to instead just reshuffle, and we'll deal another one, and then depending on how that game goes, we will, you know, I guess we could switch to a different one. I feel like Rove is one that I almost always want to play, and I have, I think, all of the expansions for that one. I think I've only played with all the expansions a couple times too, so it could be interesting to sort of see how that feels. Crown, cross, a snake, cross. All right, so in this case, when it's just a setup, if you have an illegal move, you can do that shuffle, and then we'll do a cross, a snake, another snake. Okay, so it's not like the worst. So I think what I would like to do. Wow, this is rough. I think if I'm remembering correctly, what I can do is I can yeah, when I recruit instead of exploring, I can split up these icons. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to use this cross with the two crowns, put it on the bottom of the deck. I'm going to recruit this and this. And we're going to pretend that I did that in the inverse order, because I think that gives us a little bit more flexibility. And when you fight, you can only use the topmost card is not covered by another hero. So if I had done it the other way, I would have kind of been shooting myself in the foot. In fact, I think you just go like that, don't you? That probably makes more sense, because otherwise you'd be sort of always looking at, oh, that's what it is. Man, maybe it has been a little bit since I've played this game. You stack them like this, because you can use all the icons. It's just the top card you can use the numerical value for. Okay, so I did that. Now the snake is going to go here, which will unfortunately kill this card. So I have one card in the graveyard already, which is not great. And then the next one. This is another one where I kind of want to just let this one pass. Although I think I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna use this cross to explore that cross, which will start my finished quests. And then that will move this one here, which unfortunately just immediately moves that back. So, so if I either need to, actually I'm not going to be able to do anything about this. This spider that's next is going to kill, if it makes it into a quest, which it will. Well, not necessarily, I guess. If it makes it into a quest, it's going to kill this card. So I can either let that happen, I, or what I could do is I could use one of these cards, the zeros, to fight this, essentially sacrificing one of those to add this card to my quests here. Which feels so-so. Although if I do that, yeah, I think I'm going to try this, which will kill this card. And then, man, I really don't want to do any of these. I'm going to do this to explore. So I'm going to explore over here. So this will go on the bottom of this deck. Just snaking across. So those now move over there. But what's going to happen is this sun is going to come up here, which its ability is play next card, which is going to be this, which has to come over here. It says move one card from finished quests to the bottom. I don't think there's a huge benefit to either of these right now. There are more snakes out, so I guess it would probably make more sense to try and go for snakes as one of my sets. So I'll do that. And then, oh man, I think this is it again. Because kill one card in the quest tableau with the least cards, which is going to kill this. So that one's going to die. And then that'll have three. Then I'll have three cards in the graveyard, so I'll lose because of that. If I try to, I can't recruit it because there are no crowns out, and both of these suns have the skull, so I can't recruit them. And if I fight it, I'd basically be sacrificing a card to the graveyard anyways. Yeah, okay. I'm calling it. It's no good. It's no good. Right. So that's Ragemore. It is a great game. It just is brutal. Absolutely brutal. Let me do some Robe. Robe is always enjoyable. So for anyone unfamiliar with Robe, what we're going to do is we're going to lay out these 6 module cards. They're going to go into a 2x3 or a 3x2 grid formation. And then we will have this stack of quest cards, which all have different requirements in the corner that you can you can see this one for the bridge right here. So what that means is we need to have that configuration of cards, with the only one that is specified is the crane has to be in the position relative to the other cards, as shown on that. So for this, I'm gonna get all the base cards. And this is one of the expansions. Base, expansion, base, expansion, base. So one of the expansions is this weird like crawler who essentially immobilizes one of your modules. So it kind of just adds one wrinkle to the game. This is another one. It's like I think it's called Fascinating Flora. So all of the different adventures up here have different little flora type things on there. And then the backs of the cards will have kind of additional things that can happen on the bottom. And there's like a ice planet one, and then a cosmic one, and then there's one that replaces all the different modules that you can use. So they all have different abilities. But we're just going to play with the base modules, and then we'll throw in the crisis one is hard because you can only use one movement card. So we'll do the cosmic, or the alien one. So we end up shuffling all these together. Shuffle all these together, and then we will, from there, deal out a hand of 5 cards, and then 1 quest that has to be completed. So I'll sort of go through each of the movement rules for the different modules as we go. We'll deal out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then do that, and then Captain Planet can hold our quest card. We have a Captain Planet cam. Probably can. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. So this is our quest we're trying to complete. We're going to put our deck of cards up beside Captain Planet. So we have to do the scan. We have to do the scan mission. So I can also see, although we're going to draw that one up once we complete this mission. So maybe not as relevant, I suppose. Also going to do this. I say this, but that doesn't mean anything. So what are we doing? These are my movement cards that I have available to me. And each of these cards has different options on them. So looking at them like this, the top number, I can just do that for any of these if I want to. But if I am able to construct the pattern that's shown in the middle of the cards, I could use the bottom number, which is always higher. So essentially what we're doing is we're going to take each of these and we're going to say, okay, this card, for example, the spiral, has to jump over a card in its movement. Otherwise, it's not a valid movement. So, and that would count as 1. So we're going to use these. This will be a lot of like shifting around as well. So, as of right now, none of these, I haven't met any of these. So we're going to have to just use the base one. So we need to get basically the Wi-Fi symbol has to be on the left-hand side of the pattern with 1 on top of it. So one thing we could do is we could just leave this here. So that way we have this part of it. And then we would still need to get the parts, like the top 2 parts of the scan sort of icon thing. But yeah, I think all right. Okay, that's all right. Yeah. So I think in this case we'll probably want to use the 3. So we're going to move those aside. The way that these cards work too is they have these little like notches. Might be a little hard to see around the edge. And so you'll just kind of you'll lay it to match how many movement points you have. So in this case I have 3, so I'm going to leave it like this. And so I get to move all of these. So this one, it's going to move, it pushes whatever is adjacent to it. This one just moves orthogonally, so like up, down, left, right. This one has to jump over something. This one can only move diagonally. This one can move any direction. And then this one can only move 1 spot. So like all of these can move multiple spaces during their movement, but this is the only one that can, it's kind of like restricted. And then each of these movement modules has their own ability. So like This one says shift any module one space, and if you want to use that, you just flip this, and they're all one-time abilities. So, yes, we have 3. So I feel like the biggest one that's always a pain to get is the one that moves just one space. Because all these other ones you can kind of like, oh, and they always have to have like a corner touching. So I have to be able to do that, for example. Which actually, I think the better thing to do here is going to be to use one movement to push these like this, which will leave me with 2. And then I'm going to move this guy up here to leave me with 1. And then for my last one, I'm actually going to move this over here, which will then get rid of that card. So then we'll go back to our hand here. And unfortunately, oh, I should have thought ahead. I could have had this one. It would have only been 3, but still. I think what we will do is I'm going to be able to get it in 3 in total. So I'm probably going to try and use this 1 and one of these other 2s. I don't think it really matters because once I finish this step, it's not going to make a difference. But what I'll do is this. I'm going to use this one for 1. So it'll go up like this. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to do that because now I'm going to use this module, which has the gear in the center, and then there has to be like 2 adjacent to it. So now I'll be able to use this for 4. And my thinking is I want to do this for 1, puts me at 3, this for 2, yeah, and then I'll go 1 and 2. I'll complete that. So now my pattern here matches the pattern that's required in the scan card. So then whatever this one is goes off to the side, and then we are left with 2 cards. So we'll drop to 5. And then Captain Planet Cam is our new one, Transmit. So I wonder if I just made that a lot harder than I needed to. Feels like if I had done it the opposite way with like the new quest or new mission first, I could have been planning for that, but it kind of adds a bit more variety, I guess. So these ones are interesting because these ones you'll play them and there's no alternate movement points that you could get. They all just have a base amount of points, and then it impacts how each of the different modules move. So it's essentially like copying one of the other modules. So because of the way that we have to have this arranged, I think that this is going to be tough because we have to keep everything adjacent. So I think everything, that means I have to jump over everything. I don't think I want to do that. I think I'm going to try this. We're going to go for this one. So we're going to get 3 and everything moves only diagonally. Because I think what I want to do is I want to try this for 1, which puts me at 2. And then this, and I get to ignore the requirement to jump over something. That leaves me with 1. I think I'll put this one up here. Although, actually, I'm going to do this. It's going to be too high up. That's okay. All right, so now I think I can't match either of these. So I think I'm going to do this one. I have to treat all of them like the spiral ones. They all have to jump over something, which seems difficult. So maybe I won't do that yet. So I think, I think instead I'll try this. I'm going to go for this one, which leaves me with 2. And I think I'll go like 1, 2. Oof. Yeah, I think this will be okay. I'm going to try this one. 4, but they all have to jump over something. So I'm going to go that to put me at 3. And then that to put me at 2. This to put me at 1. And this to tap out on that card. Because oh, no, I think I got this. I think this will be alright. I think I might have to use all of my cards, but I have to do this one for 2. Because what I'm thinking is if I have, let's see, if I have, damn. This game's always way more taxing than I remember. Basically, I can leave this one here. Because my next one is going to make everything move orthogonally only. So I'm going to leave, if I leave this one here, I can leave this one here. I need these 2 to move. So I think what I'm, yeah, this is what I'll do. I'll spend 1 to do, oh snap, I can't do that. Uh-oh. 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 I worry I might have messed up. No, it might be okay. So if I do this for 1, I can do this for the other one. And then for this, everything has to move like this one. But as of right now, the only card that needs to move is this, which can go 1, 2. Yeah. Right, that does match. Yeah, it matches. That was very close. So now, if we go back to our Captain Planet view, you can see we're sort of, our adventure is continuing for our little robot guy. So then I draw back up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I think if I'm remembering correctly, what ends up happening in this game is that if you run out of cards in your draw deck here, you reshuffle this. I think the objective is to hit 7 completed missions. which just seems challenging, very difficult. Okay, so now we have to get to like this like T shape here. Kind of see it with the spiral at the top, which the good news is the spiral is already at the top. The bad news is we don't have anything. Everything moves like the brain, so orthogonally. That wouldn't be the worst card to use. I think what I would like to be able to do, let's try that. We're going to do this one for 2. Seems foolish to move the brain with this one, but I can't do that. I can do that, which will expend both of those. And then I don't have any of these. The claw one is okay. I feel like this is it only gives me 1 movement. Lovely. I think, I just need 2. 2 is all I need, because I can go like that, and I'll move this one diagonally up here for 1, and then I'll move this one up for 2. That one was a little bit easier. I think I had myself set up pretty well, admittedly on accident. So yeah, so we're out of our draw deck. We will reshuffle, and then we'll draw a new mission. Which is going to be navigate. So we might be able to do this one. This might happen, potentially. And again, I don't have any of these cards for movement. I don't have any of the patterns matching. I think, yeah, I think what I might do is this. If I, let's see. I'm not going to be able to get any of these, really. I think I'm just going to use this one, because this one kind of is difficult. The one that you imitate the claw, so I get 2 movements. So I am, again, going to move the claw 1, because I'm retaining the adjacency that's required. And then I'll move the one that's sort of like central to this mission here, which will spend that one. But it did not give me anything super helpful. And what needs to happen now is these both need to come over here. Oh, I think, oh, I know what I'll do. Okay. Yeah, I can do it this way. I'm going to use this one for 3, which will give me 1, 2, 3 for that. And then I will use, I'm going to just shift all of this a little bit. I need the space. There we go. Because then I'm going to use this 1, which lets me move anything like this card. I'm going to use this so I don't have to jump over anything. That will get rid of that. Then I'm going to use this one for 2, just to come down here. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh, if I have 2, I wonder if I can go 1. I don't know if it can only jump over 1 or if it has to jump over at least 1. Because if it has to jump over at least 1, that would be good. Here's the at least 1. Okay, well if I have 2, move that up for 1, this down here for 2. Although I can't because it's like that. This might be the end. Oh, maybe not. So I got 3. Yeah, I could do that for 1. Two. Yeah. Okay. That works. So navigate is complete. It's 4 so far. I think we're going to wrap it up though. I think I'm going to sign off. So, thanks.